the Soul Eater. If that kills us, that's it. No Valhalla, no hell, no afterlife, ever.
It does not attack.
Mom made them sound more dangerous than that.
Then do not drop your guard. Come.
Out of War, so this is not actually required for the main quest, I don't think. I'm pretty sure this is a side quest. I might be wrong on that though, because sometimes there's a few quests that are kind of main quests and sort of not really, but you kind of got to do the side quest completely anyway. So, whatever it is, we are going to be going through this cave for Brok, and we kind of learn sort of how side quests work. So at the top of the compass there, we can see that there's two markers. One of them is what they call favors, and then the other marker is pretty permanent. It's the main quest mark, so and that's where you're going to go. Not the blue one, but I don't know what color is it. That's where you're going to go when you're heading to the main quest. So here we also see our first Soul Eater. I think I said that, but if I didn't, then I'll say that third time. We found the first Soul Eater. He doesn't attack us straight away, and that's going to be usual for these guys. They don't actually attack until you attack them. I think there's around 6 in the world, and I don't think I'll be getting to all of them throughout this playthrough for the video purposes, but they all are going to have the same attacks, and we're going to have to do a couple of things before we can get there. I think there's also a Nornir chest and some other stuff inside of this place that we'll want to collect if we can, and don't forget to look around, pick up some of the collectibles, and also break open any of these side areas that you see just so you can get some treasure map items if you have those, or get some free hack silver. And you may be wondering this early in the game, what's the best way to get hack silver? What's the best way to get, you know, experience? And truthfully, the answer to that is just play the game. By the time you get easily halfway through, you're going to have hundreds of thousands of experience, and twice as much of that in hack silver. So the game is very nice and very generous, and if you really want to speed it up, you could stack luck and then go run through a couple of areas that you haven't picked things up yet, and you'll get a ton of hack silver that way. But I don't really like spending or wasting some slots and items on luck, so that's not really my idea. Have a good time here. So we also gotta fight yet another Revenant. And I really don't like these Revenants. They just aren't very fun. You're supposed to, as I've said before, just hit them as Atreus, or just hit them with Atreus, sorry, as the Revenant has the weird chaos stuff around them, but even then they don't really get stunned that easily, and they can do a lot of damage to you, and especially at this point we don't have a whole lot of health or defense, so it's not really too uncommon for them to get you a few times. But that being said, that one's not too big of a deal. So then we're going to be in this big room, and there's going to be a Nornir chest and this area down here. So there's 2 runes that are going to be pretty easy to spot. The third rune is inside that gate that we just saw right up ahead of me, and that way is also how we get to the Soul Eater, who we will be killing here. So I'm trying to remember, and I think I just now remembered, the whole reason that we are here is because Brok's friend is missing, and we're looking for his ring. And we are going to be finding his friend or his ring or both, and we're kind of just searching through all the dead bodies. We also get to learn which I'm probably talking over right now, we get to learn all about Kratos and how he really isn't too interested in helping other people, but he doesn't mind doing this because it will give extra supplies and stuff like that for their journey, which is not a bad idea. So there's going to be, I think, some kind of treasure map or word translation scroll there.
Hey, it's
Show
another
up on the
treasure.
right. Let's see what that was. I can't remember. Oh, it's just a treasure map. So we're gonna, I think we found a few of these already, but there is an achievement to complete all the treasure maps, and for the most part, you'll find a lot of them. Again, just by playing the game, and then if you do some scouring, search every inch of whatever area you're in, you'll be able to find most of the locations of those treasure maps just by accident. For the harder ones, or the ones that are a little bit more out of the way, you may need to just go look them up and see where those are. They're not really too hard to get to, and you do get some really useful materials that you can't get anywhere else. So there's a couple of items that for the final upgrades you're going to want those treasure maps. The items that you get from those treasure maps. So let's work on the Nornir chest. There's one right there. That is the sea rune, and then the next one's going to be kind of up here to the left in this chasm. So it's hanging right over there. I'm looking at it. There's also that pot. Blow that up to get the seal. And then the final one's going to be at that gate that I mentioned earlier. And we're just going to open up this gate, and it's sitting right there next to the chest.
The ring! On that severed hand! Attached to the Soul Eater. Well, you know what happened to Invari now. You can just go tell Brok. No need to fight it, right?
So we're gonna break that open, get this chest, and we also see that that's where the Soul Eater kind of has the guy's arm on him. So we learned what happened to Brok's friend there. Then of course when we break that chest open, or when we get the rune, one of the two, these guys are gonna spawn and try to attack us. Try to use Atreus' abilities whenever you want to, just because it's kind of useful to have some other kind of attacking creature, but a lot of them aren't really too strong until you get them upgraded, which does cost experience. And at this point, I'd recommend spending most of your experience on Kratos and not so much Atreus. I'm also kind of getting wrecked here by these guys, and I think I'm like, alright, I gotta run out of here. If I'm inside of that place, they're just gonna keep pounding away at me. So don't be afraid to whack them with your axe from afar, and try your best to keep the nightmares dead, because if they aren't dead, you'll see what's happening here to this guy, where he gets all of his health back. He also has increased strength, I believe, and you just have to hit him a lot more to get the nightmare outside of him. So those really should be the first priority of things for you to kill. Whenever you see them, just get them dead, and that one came out of nowhere. So you can either throw your axe at them, or you can use Atreus, which is a very viable option to arrow down those nightmares. You usually die in a couple of hits with Atreus, especially once you start working on getting some of his bow upgrades, which generally just costs a whole lot of pack silver. So any upgrade that'll give them increased damage, which are also experience upgrades, those are also very good. And then there were just piles and piles of enemies here, which was really strange because I don't know why. At this spot specifically, there's just an absurd amount of enemies, especially this early in the game. And they just kept throwing them at me and throwing them at me. So later on in the game, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff that doesn't have nearly as many enemies like this. At least it doesn't feel that way, but it's going to be way better suited to dealing with them. But also this early in the game, I was not making very good use of my runic powers, and it can be kind of hard to use those at first. Just because a lot of times, especially with the lengthy cooldown, they don't feel that useful, but believe me, they definitely are. And if I had to really give any newcomers the best advice, I would say don't cheap out on getting your runic power up. Get that up. That is very useful. It does a ton of damage. You could go for cooldown if you just want to cast runic after runic after runic. And that's also a good option if you want to make a couple of bosses extremely easy, but I'm more talking about the later sort of end game bosses that I might be getting to. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to go that far yet or not. Alright, so we had to get all the Nornir runes for that door. I guess that wasn't actually a chest. I thought there was a Nornir chest in here, but either way, here's the Soul Eater that we got to kill now, and as we could tell, I'm very low on health, so I can't remember if I die. If I do die, then it'll be a very quick death. I'm a little bit surprised that I didn't cut that out if I die, so I guess we'll find out here. But we'll kind of go over what this guy does. So I think we fought an Ancient before already inside of the, what is that? The Dark Elf realm, the Realm of Light, all of that stuff. We already fought an elf there. And that's, or not, sorry, not an elf, the Ancient, and that's kind of what this guy does. So he's got the same exact kind of moves. He'll open up his chest, and then he will cast some fireballs at you. There's a couple of environmental things you can hide behind, and what you're going to want to do is cast your axe at him, and then pick these orbs up and try to cast them at him to get him all weakened. You do that a couple of times, and then you'll be fine and be able to stun him, take a lot of damage out of him, and then kill him that way. So as we see there, I did in fact die, and I'm going to take this as an opportunity to demonstrate that if you're low on health at some point in this game, especially early on, this is really only a problem early on, if you're low on health at some point, it's usually more efficient just to die instead of trying, because when you do die, you'll come back with full health. So it's not really a big worry there. But later on in the game, we're going to get some gear that gives us constant health regeneration. It's not much, but when you're wandering around the world, it does make up for that. And we're also just going to get better at the game as time goes on. So we could use those explosive things on the sides of the room to do some damage to this guy if he's close to them, but that's kind of hard to pull off. For the most part, you just want to dodge out of the way of his attacks. You can also block almost all of them, I believe. And you're just going to want to throw your axe at his chest and get him to get his stun meter up, because when his stun meter is higher, you'll be able to get up close to him and actually take out a lot of his health that way. But it can be a little bit strange doing that just because he has to have his chest open for the stun to go up just like there, and if he attacks you, the meter's going to go down a little bit. You can usually get a couple of hits off on this guy before you jump in and do this kind of quick time event. So it's up to you if you want to risk that or not, but I got one hit off on him there, then kind of panic attacked and just decided to go straight for him. When he's at about half health, he's going to summon a couple of these other Draugr for you, and I think their purpose is more, besides, you know, to annoy you, is also to drop some healing orbs, because I believe that's also what they drop. Also be careful if you stand next to these explosive barrels, because you'll be able to blow them up and that'll hurt you too. Fire damage, especially this early in the game, can do some pretty good damage to you, and I think I got hit by another barrel over there. So we're just gonna pick up more of his smoldering ember things and just toss them at him. The fire damage is gonna get pretty close to killing me here, but I'm pretty sure I'd make it out okay with this attempt. And that was kind of annoying because that guy was so close to getting stunned, but he just wouldn't open up his stupid chest there. So once again, I'm like, I'm gonna hide behind this pillar, but make sure that you don't get blown up by one of those pots. So you might want to blow those up before it actually starts. And I'm going to use my talisman, which gives me a slight health boost, and pick up all those other health items that were around. So I'm kind of back to full health here. A couple more hits, and the guy falls.
We did it! I can't believe it.
Believe it. You are stronger than you know.
Thank you, Father. Let's see if that...
Green ring. Dwarvish inscription.
The alchemist. But where's the rest of him?
Ashes, most likely.
The Soul Eater got him. I guess we should bring this back to Brok.
So then we get a couple of useful items. We get some burn damage resistance, which isn't really all that useful, but like I said early on in the game, it does do some pretty decent damage to you, so it's up to you if you want to throw that on or not. Also get a legendary chest, which collecting all of the legendary chests is required if you want to 100% the game, and that's pretty much going to be it for this area, so I will see you in the next video, but I'm going to go through for the rest of the video without talking, of course, and just doing a few other random things, getting back to the shop and all of that.
Can you read it?
Sir. These runes were written fast. It spells out... Ejim Stain. I don't know that one.
We will ask the blue one.
So now you're interested?
We found his alchemist. A reward was promised.
How was that?
I see improvement.
What'd you find?
You're an alchemist.
I'm sorry, Brok. The hand is all we could find. Still wearing the ring. There was a soul eater inside, and well, he must have burned away the rest of him.
Suppose you'll still be wanting some compensation, huh?
Naturally.
Naturally, he says. Miani Feruxi. I'll take a closer look at this here ring. Maybe Anvari left a bit of magic inside before he croaked.
Dwarves... can do that?
Sure, dwarves and magic jewels is like flies and pig lips. Supple ones.
Ugh. I'm not as interested as I thought.
Alright. Check back soon.
Boy.
Look at this place. This must be a branch of the World Tree.
Boy, stay on the path.
Right, I know.